Thank you, Rich. Good morning. Welcome. I'm Reverend Kathy from Unity North Spiritual Center in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. So welcome, whether you're live or virtual today. We're glad you're with us. And we're part of a greater worldwide unity movement, the publishers of the Daily Word magazine. And we've been holding 132 years of prayer vigil through Silent Unity, the prayer ministry of the Unity movement. So prayer is the heart and soul. And Nancy Helvig is our prayer chaplain today. She's with us in person. And she'll also, there she is. And she'll be available right after service for a phone call or live if you're here in person. So thanks, Nancy. All right, also we're an inclusive community. We welcome and accept all people. So let's begin by speaking our mission and vision statements. Our vision first, together. Centered in prayer, we create for all a world of love, harmony, and abundance. And our mission statement is celebrating spirit, exploring truths, awakening hearts, inspiring dreams, serving community. And then you see our values that represent our core beliefs here at Unity North. And so today we have Chris Taliano with us as our producer. And we have, let's give him a hand. And we have Wanda as our worship assistant, and then Rich Miller as our musician. So welcome, Rich. And he'll lead us in an opening song. And feel free to stand.
Yes, indeed. Feel free to stand. So this is a song many of you have sung before by Karen Drucker, Thank You for This Day. I'll remind some of you how the harmony goes or the melody. Sing any part you like, harmony or melody. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. And then that repeats. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. All right, second verse. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. Let's take this up a little bit. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. My spiritual, my spiritual, my spiritual life. My spiritual, my spiritual, my spiritual life. Let's take it again. Thank you for your love, Spirit. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your love, Spirit. Thank you for your love. Your glorious, your glorious, your glorious love. Glorious, your glorious love. One more time. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Welcome, everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rich. What a great way to start our service this morning. So good morning. I'm Wanda, your worship assistant today. And this is the time in the service when we greet each other, whether we're here in person or virtually. So if the folks that are here, wave to those around you, and then wave to the camera in the back to say hi to all the virtual folks. All right. Hello, everybody, and good morning. And is there anyone visiting with us for the first time today? Seeing anything? All right, and how about a wave from those that are joining us from out of state? All right, got some waves there. Hi, Candy. All right. Great to have everyone with us today. And if anyone is here newer, they can most certainly grab a welcome packet in the back or just go to our website to request one as well. And at this point, we do our prayer requests. So we'll just take a moment, and rather than say them out loud for everyone to hear, we invite you to speak the name or request silently here or aloud in the privacy of your home. And we'll just pause for a moment of silence. And we give thanks in advance for these prayers, and we say, thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. And today, Sunday, August 21st, our daily word is gratitude. Gratitude is my natural state of mind. What a joy it is to feel gratitude rising from my heart and filling my mind. Feeling grateful makes me aware of the all-encompassing presence of God, including the divine within me. When I live from my spiritual nature, gratitude becomes the song of my heart. I don't need to wait for a reason to feel gratitude. When I live with an attitude of gratitude, I find the good in every situation, the blessing that can come from every adversity, and the presence of God in every aspect of my life. Practicing gratitude opens my eyes to the blessings that are present and opens my heart to receive even more. I give thanks for an unlimited world, blissful peace, and perfect wholeness. And from Psalms 95:2, let us come into his presence with thanksgiving. Let us make joyful noise to him with song and with praise. Today's word, gratitude. Rich will prepare us for meditation.
Thank you, Wanda. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel the loving power and the grace. There's a holy truth within us. I see glory in each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel the loving power and the grace. There's a holy truth within us. I see glory in each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
And now I invite you to sit back and close your eyes for meditation. Just take several deep breaths, saying to yourself, I'm completely and totally relaxed, as you feel a wave of peace surround and enfold you. Allow me to speak the words for you. Take them in as your own. It's not I, but the Christ within who does the work. I'm now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I let the Spirit of God now lift me and harmonize my thoughts and feelings. I rely on divine guidance, knowing that Mother, Father, God is my unfailing guide in everything. I let go of all my concerns, knowing that whatever my needs are, there is an answer waiting for my acceptance. I quietly listen to the Spirit of God within. Healing, protection, peace, love, harmony, blessing, all depend upon divine guidance. God is my unfailing guide, and I am aligned with my inner wisdom now. Spirit communicates in countless ways through signs, symbols, synchronicity, dreams, wonders, and miracles. I know I'm always guided, and I remember to take the time to look and to listen. Loving Spirit, I ask for your guidance now. I know you already know my greatest needs and my deepest longing. I know you are my unfailing guide. In this sacred time, I ask for anything I need to know to be revealed. I receive new light, clear answers, and greater understanding as I listen in the silence. I give thanks for the light of God that illumines my mind and awakens my heart and my intuition. I am aligned with God's will for absolute good. I see and hear the messages all around me, and I know that I'm not alone. I receive divine guidance and I act on it. And I say, thank you, God, for our answered prayer. And so it is. Amen.
You can find a way to be more free. All you need to do is choose to listen to your heart. You can see the world from a different point of view. You can focus on the love that is there inside of you, and listen to your heart. Just listen to your heart. You can find a way to share more love. All you need to do is choose to listen to your heart. You can see the world from a different point of view. You can focus on the love that is there inside of you, and listen to your heart. Just listen to your heart. Each single moment brings a brand new opportunity to become more than you had ever thought that you could be. Inside your heart you'll find the power to be free, so that you can see the world from a different point of view. You can focus on the love that is there inside of you, and listen to your heart. Just listen to your heart. No matter what goes on around you, you can still be true to that clear vision you know comes direct from God to you. So listen to your heart to hear what's best to do, so that you can see the world from a different point of view, and focus on the love that is there inside of you, and listen to your heart. Just listen to your heart. Listen to your heart.
Thank you. One man sought guidance from his doctor. He said to him, "When I press my forehead with my finger, it really hurts. And when I press my cheek, I'm in pain. And even when I press my stomach, I'm suffering. What can I do?" And the doctor was stumped, and he sent him on to a specialist. And about a week later, he returned, and the doctor said, "Well, what did the specialist say?" And the man said, "He told me I have a broken finger." Well, life challenges us to trust our guidance. And in Unity, we teach to seek guidance through prayer and meditation, find it within. But also, guidance can be found in many places, in many forms without as well, which some would say is really within anyway. But my son, Justin, and his wife, Bethany, had to seek guidance from a doctor recently, and they were sent on to a specialist. Some of you may have heard last week during social time, I asked for prayers for my grandson, Dylan, and also asked for the prayer chaplains. But Dylan, who lives in Minot, North Dakota with his parents, was in an accident in a side-by-side, which is often called, I think it's called an off-road vehicle too. It's much larger than a golf cart, smaller than a Jeep. But anyway, his friend was driving, and Dylan was a passenger, and thank God he was seat belted in. But there was a low tire, and his friend made a sharp right, and so it tipped over. And Dylan broke 7 bones in his hand, some in more than one piece. And so he first went to the doctor in Minot, and they said what they did is they did a surgery just to take the gravel out. But they told him the rest was beyond their expertise and he needed to go to Fargo. So they sent his scans on, and then Fargo told him the same thing. It was beyond their expertise. So last Monday he had surgery at the Mayo Clinic Hospital here in Rochester, Minnesota. And so the surgery was successful. And I just want to thank all of you for your prayer support. It really made a difference. And they had to put 3 screws in his hand, which are permanent. And they had to put some pins in to pin it together while the ligaments heal. And those pins will come out later in surgery. And anyway, and then he has to go back in 2 weeks, which is now another week, to finally put the cast on. Can't put the cast on yet. And then that'll be probably 6 weeks with the cast, and then a lot of physical therapy. But anyway, I'm very grateful for the prayer support. And the morning of the surgery, beyond my prayers, sorry, Chris, I'm walking back and forth. Beyond my prayers, I called Silent Unity, and then I called on Archangel Michael for a little extra help. And he's been good to me in the past in giving me the help when I request it. So anyway, I also asked him to focus on Justin and Bethany as well, Dylan's parents, because I knew they weren't able to express all they were feeling about their son going through this. And also this whole thing is going to take a toll in terms of their work, because they're having to come back now. They'll have to come back every 2 weeks, and it's an 8-hour drive each way for several months now. And so anyway, I was asking prayers for that. And during the day, while I was waiting to hear about the outcome of the surgery, I decided I would start working on this Sunday lesson called Signs and Synchronicity for today. And I picked up a book to see if I could find a story in it, but I got distracted by a piece of unopened mail on my table. And when I opened it up, it was a card with an ad on it, and at the top it said, "For your son." And it was showing a beautiful pendant of Archangel Michael. So I felt like, well, that's confirmation that I've been heard. And that's often how Michael works anyway. But my son kept texting me throughout the day, keeping me updated. It's amazing, you know, they would text him and say, he's now prepared for surgery, now he's going into surgery, and I'm getting these texts throughout the day. And then now he's in the closing phase of surgery, now he's leaving surgery. I mean, it's pretty amazing how they kept him updated. And so then that night, later, I talked to him about his experience. And he said that just everybody at the Mayo Clinic was so amazing, so friendly, and they had many teams working on him, and about 12 to 15 people came to greet them and talk to them even before they went in to say they were part of the teams. And then after the surgery, several went all the way to their car with them. So also, the amazing thing is synchronicity would have it. My daughter-in-law Bethany's uncle happens to have a fully furnished, unused condo sitting in Rochester, Minnesota, which is where Mayo Clinic is. So they can use that through all of their travels there over the next few months, which was an incredible gift and blessing. So when I talked to my, that evening rather, after talking with my son Justin, I watched a movie on Netflix called Woman in Gold with Helen Mirren and Ryan Reynolds. Have any of you seen it? Well, I highly recommend it. It is a great film, and it's based on a true story about a Jewish woman in Los Angeles who took legal action with Vienna, Austria, to try to retrieve a painting of her aunt that had been done by world-famous artist Klimt. And at that time, when she proceeded with the legal action, it was hanging at the Belvedere Museum in Vienna. So after the movie, I decided to spend more time working on my Sunday talk on signs and synchronicity, and I opened a book to a story that I'd not yet read, and it turned out to be about a woman who escapes Vienna, Austria, before the Nazis come. How amazing, you know, right after the movie I'd just seen, I go to this story, and the story was called Grandmother's Guidance, a Dream That Spared Generations, written by Jean Munzer about her mother, Clara. So Clara was a young woman who met her husband-to-be when she was 15, and they became inseparable for 3 or 4 years. They did everything together. And they even talked marriage toward the end of that 4-year period, but he ended up having an opportunity to go to America. And he was an incredible musician, so when he got to America, he ended up becoming an opera singer. And he also became an American citizen. But he couldn't get Clara out of his mind, so he went back to see if she would marry him and he could bring her with him to America. But she first resisted. Because she had elderly grandparents she did not want to leave. And so they convinced him, they told him they would set him up in his own business. And so he reluctantly gave up his American dream, but he loved Clara more, so he decided to go for it. But the night before he was supposed to sign the papers, the contract for this new business, Clara had an amazing dream. Her long-dead mother appeared to her vividly, and she had never met her mother before in waking life, but she appeared to her with a very urgent message, and she said, "Clara, you must go with your husband-to-be and move to America." And Clara was so impressed by this, so impacted by it, the emotion of her mother she'd never met coming to her with this urgent message, that she ran all the way to her boyfriend's house. His name was Siegfried. She ran all the way to his house, and she told him, "You can't sign those papers tomorrow. We have to move to America." And he was, of course, surprised, but he joyfully agreed. And so they did. First, they got married a little while later, and then shortly after that, they emigrated to America, as did some of his relatives. And 2 years later, the Nazis invaded Vienna. And of course, all the family members who were still there perished. But Clara's daughter, Jean, the author of the story, says she believes her mother's dream made her family's future possible. And it had a profound influence on Jean's life work. She said, "My parents and my father's family who came to America were saved by my mother's dream. Myself, my children, their children, all our future generations owe our lives to a dream warning given to my mother Clara by my grandmother, who had long before passed from this world. So, a stunning example of following guidance. So I had watched this movie, Woman in Gold, about Vienna during the time of the Nazis. And then I picked up that story, Grandmother's Guidance, about the escape from Vienna in time to avoid the Nazis and Hitler. And then I decided to take a break and dig into a new novel that I had just started by author Daniel Silva. And if you haven't read him, he's written numerous books. But in many of his books, the protagonist is a man named Gabriel Allon, who is both a spy and an assassin for Israeli intelligence. And in this book, the other job that he has on the side is to be one of the world's best art restorer. So he restores famous masterpieces. And so in this book, in the very first chapter, I learned that he and his family have now moved to Vienna, Austria. And not only that, there's talk in the first chapter about the theft of all the great art from Vienna, Austria during World War II. What are the odds? What are the odds? Think about it. Here I watched this movie, Woman in Gold, and then, about the theft of a great painting by the Nazis, then happened to read a short story about the very same subject, mostly, and only a short time later, the same day, pick up a novel and discover the exact same theme. While I'm also digging into my Sunday lesson about signs and synchronicity. And this was such a perfect example. I've not figured out what message Vienna and the Nazis is all about for me. Actually, I think it was more a question of synchronicity showing up because I invoked it by saying I was going to talk about this theme. Like the universe saying, okay, you want to talk about signs and synchronicity? Here's an example. Or maybe it was warning me someone's going to give me a trip to Austria. I like that interpretation a lot. Probably a bit more likely, though, it could be some kind of message, maybe even about getting out my paints again and my paintbrushes and not letting the rigid, more disciplined part of myself that's working a lot keep me from expressing my artistic creativity. That sounds true to me, like I can feel an aha from that. Because, sometimes when synchronicity and signs show up, we still have to interpret them. And it may be very obvious, or we may have to sift through some different meanings until we feel one or more that resonates. Synchronicity is different than a coincidence. Both have to do with sequence of events that seem to be both accidental and planned. Both are characterized by the seemingly chance emergence of facts that show this uncanny relationship between people, places, things, and ideas that previously seemed unconnected. But synchronicity always involves a crucial time element. Time is the key feature. For example, suppose you learn that a friend of yours is reading the same book you are. Well, that's a coincidence. It's simply a coincidence. But author Albert Galding gives another example of synchronicity. He tells of two friends, Kate and Samantha, who separately take this trip to Rome, and they bump into each other there sightseeing. And they're so surprised, but they decided to continue their tour, their sightseeing together. And as they wander through Rome, nearby, just outside of Vatican City, they discover this orphanage. And they go in and they become really connected while they're there with the kids. And by the time they go back to America, they've established this relationship, and they stay in touch and continue to nurture this relationship with the orphans they met and their caretakers. And so by the time they decide 5 years later, Kate and Samantha underwrite this charity to help unwed Italian mothers get an education, obtain employment, and raise their babies rather than give them up for adoption. So in that example, there's a strong time element. It was critical they ran into each other in Rome, and that they together stumbled on the orphanage during that time as well. And it also proved important for their future and the future of others. So that is very much an example of synchronicity. And that's why signs and synchronicity show up for us in the first place. They're often the language through which Spirit conveys powerful divine guidance. And trusting our guidance is not always an easy ride. God's will tends to nudge us gently or even forcefully catapult us toward greater balance, greater wholeness, greater enlightenment. But we might resist what is revealed to us. Everybody, to some extent, backs away from their own authenticity, sometimes settles for less, hobbles their own power, or does not speak when spoken to in dreams. Everybody occasionally ignores the promptings of the soul and then the discontent that ensues. We all have a part of us that fears change. We seek to conserve the meaning of our lives. We try to protect our years of investment in certain comfort zones. And sometimes we just don't want to experience the chaos that comes with trusting guidance. And yet chaos is the pure potential from which all things and all beings emerge. Remember that when you're next in chaos. One thing about true guidance, it's often completely illogical. That's the point. It comes from beyond the rational mind. So it's true our logic can help us to decide certain things, such as, there's not enough money, or big decisions, or rather, big decisions always take place in the realm of spirit. And they may or may not agree with our logic. So our guidance shows up in different ways, and Greg Lavoie, in his wonderful book, Callings, speaks to the metaphoric guidance of dreams. So, for example, say you're trying to decide between following your security needs or your passion, and you have a dream that you throw a rock through the window of a bank and you bury your briefcase in the backyard. Is that security or passion? Passion. You want passion. Or say you're unwittingly losing yourself in a job and you have a dream that you lose your wallet with all your ID. This is a warning about losing yourself in the job. And someone you're considering teaming up with may appear in a dream wearing fake leather shoes and costume jewelry. You might rethink that partnership. Or you have a dream, you're writing an autobiography, and then you have a dream that you're appearing without any clothes in public. Well, this is a dream about fearing exposure through the writing that you're doing. So I was trying to decide where to go in regard to my second church. I had moved away from Tempe, Arizona, after my first ministry there. I had done a little bit of traveling, but prior to that, I had signed up to a graduate program in Oakland, California, and I was doing that from a distance at first, and then I needed to move there. So I wanted to be near the Bay Area, but I moved all my things up to Santa Rosa, where I intended to move after and start an alternative ministry. And it left my things close to me because I was at that time then staying with my sister near the Bay Area while I was finishing up my master's program. And at that time, I had this dream. I dreamed that I was on a bus, and I was headed for Santa Rosa, which is north of the Golden Gate Bridge, north of San Francisco. I was headed there, going north, and there was a man at the front of the bus, and he was standing there with a giant sign that said detour, and it had an arrow pointing to the southwest. And I was a little baffled, and the next day, the board president from the Santa Cruz Church, Unity Church, called me, and he said that he had heard about me, they knew I was in the area. They were looking for a 1-year temporary to come and help them with a conflicted church, and would I be interested in coming to interview and have a weekend tryout. And I remembered that Santa Cruz is southwest of Santa Rosa, and I said yes. And so I did get that job, and it was 1 year initially that allowed me to then commute and finish the master's program. So it all worked out perfectly. And now then 10 years later, when I was once again asking for guidance about the next phase of my journey, I was leaving the Santa Cruz area, and I saw that the Santa Rosa Church was open. And my long ago dream came into my head, and I had what was a waking dream, which is almost as vivid as a real dream at night, and it's more vivid than a daydream. And I'm back in the bus, and I see the man with the sign, and it says detour. There's no arrow, just detour. And then I realized, oh my gosh, this had all been a detour to Santa Cruz initially, and now I have to go back to Santa Rosa, because when we take a detour, we end up in the place we're going to begin with. And so that was exactly what happened. Guidance shows up in many forms, through our dreams, through our intuition, through our passion, through symptoms that are metaphoric, a pain in the neck from shouldering too much responsibility, an overheard conversation in a restaurant or somewhere else that seems it was meant just for us, places in our lives where there's friction, song lyrics that will not leave us alone, prayer and meditation, experiences and instructions. Actually, the more we wake up and look around, the more we discover that guidance is everywhere. We can see it in nature with a bird flying overhead at the right moment. A tree can give us an answer if we take time to pause and listen. The pattern of the stars. A book can come at the right moment. Another person can say something. The list goes on and on and on. God gets the message across to us through billboards and postcards, business cards, headlines, skywriting. Signs are everywhere. John heard from his boss that their company was downsizing and that he might be furloughed. And on the same day, his stockbroker called with bad news about his investments. And so feeling low, he went over to his favorite coffee shop and ordered a latte and grabbed the New York Times. And when he opened it up, his eyes fell on a headline that said, "All is not lost." And it brought him hope. A woman, Elena, followed her intuitive guidance. She was distraught that her cat had just died of old age. So she went out for a walk, and she ended up going into this church for solace. Sat there a while, and then when she got up to leave, she heard the meow of a cat, and she followed the sound and discovered a Persian cat and 3 small kittens under a set of steps. And the Monsignor told her she could take them home, the cat and her litter. So a little boy followed his guidance and he acted on it. A woman relates, while I sat in the reception area of my doctor's office, a woman rolled an elderly man in a wheelchair into the room. And as she went to the receptionist's desk, the man sat there alone and silent. And just as I was thinking I should make small talk with him, a little boy took action. He slipped off his mother's lap, and he walked over to the wheelchair. Placing his hand on the man's hand, he said, "I know just how you feel. My mom makes me ride in the stroller too." Well, sometimes we have to be careful about blindly trusting others to provide guidance for us. A young executive is leaving the office late one evening when he finds the CEO standing in front of the shredder with a piece of paper in his hand. "Listen," says the CEO, "this is a very sensitive and important document. My secretary's gone for the night. Can you make this thing work?" "Certainly," said the young executive. He turns on the machine, puts the paper in, hits the start button. "Thanks," says the CEO as the paper disappears inside the shredder. "I just need one copy." No, yikes. After some mistakes along the way, we're eternally guided and directed back to our own innate wisdom. In fact, signs and synchronicity do not have the last word. Discernment does. We may have amazing signs and miracles and wonders, but it's still important to turn within and discern our own truth. In closing today, let us ask, seek, and knock through daily prayer and meditation. Let us listen for that still small voice and then act on our intuitive wisdom. And let us affirm frequently, "Thy will be done." And thank you, Spirit, for your divine guidance. And then trust the signs and synchronicity and wonders that we receive. God bless you as you follow your own divine guidance. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Fabulous examples and ideas. And I'm glad we talked before your talk today, earlier before the service. This song actually comes from that because in conversation with others, when we talk about signs and synchronicity, and you use the term waking dream and the sign of the detour sign held up on your bus trip, on the bus trip that you were experiencing. My experience is that a lot of people go through that, but they don't see it, or they don't hear that word that was in a conversation as they walked by. They just sort of tune it all out. And so this is sort of a reminder to myself that I need to keep my eyes open so that I can see the light of God everywhere around me. I need to keep my ears open so that I can hear God's word, whether it's coming through others or directly. And I need to keep my heart open to all of those gifts. And so that's how this goes. You've got to keep your eyes open if you want to see the light. Keep your ears open if you want to hear the word. Keep your heart open if you want to feel the love of God. You've got to keep your eyes open if you want to see the light. Keep your ears open if you want to hear the word. Keep your heart open if you want to feel the love of God. There's a reason for why the oceans roar is a beautiful thing. There's a sound it makes with each wave that breaks, and it's the message it sings. You've got to keep your eyes open if you want to see the light. Keep your ears open if you want to hear the word. Keep your heart open if you want to feel the love of God. Have you heard the song of the birds at dawn? Watched an eagle in flight, held a loved one near, and caught a vision clear of the secret to life. You've got to keep your eyes open if you want to see the light. Keep your ears open if you want to hear the word. Keep your heart open if you want to feel the love of God. Miracles are happening every day that often go unnoticed along the way. The secret to experience more of the blessings of God. You've got to keep your eyes open if you want to see the light. Keep your ears open if you want to hear the word. Keep your heart open if you want to feel the love of God. Do you want to feel the love of God? You gotta keep your eyes open if you want to see the light. Keep your ears open if you want to hear the word. Keep your heart open if you want to feel the love of God. Feel the love of God, yeah. Feel the love. Feel the love if you want to feel the love of God. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Great. And this is a point in our service when we do our offering blessing, and we invite you to go to our website to share your gift at unitynorthmn.org and find the donate button on the home page to give your offering there. Or if you're in person today, the basket at the back of the center aisle is there, and if you leave cash, please put your name on it. And if you prefer to mail a check, you can also do that by sending it to our address, which can also be found on the website. So let us speak together our offering blessing. Together, divine love flowing through me now bless and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful.
All right. So many of you know this song. The one thing in the copy that I sent Kathy, Reverend Kathy, that I did not put up here is the phrase "in my soul," which is in every verse. Many people sing it twice, sort of like an echo, and so we'll be doing that. And then, of course, the first verse, as you can see, is about peace like a river, and the second one is love like a mountain, and then the third is joy like a fountain, and the fourth verse combines all of those things. So, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul, in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul, in my soul. I've got love like a mountain, I've got love like a mountain, I've got love like a mountain in my soul, in my soul. I've got love like a mountain, I've got love like a mountain, I've got love like a mountain in my soul. Let's take this up a little bit. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul, in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul, in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got love like a mountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul, in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got love like a mountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul, in my soul. Yeah. I don't know how much y'all could see online, but people here were dancing. And
Yeah, People have the moves down for that one. That's awesome. All right, and our announcements today. Upcoming is our All You Need Is Love Flash Flea Market Food and Beatles songs. Be a fun day here at Unity North, and the first part of it is going to be a flash flea market for yesterday's treasures that'll run from 2:30 to 4:30, and you can be a seller or a shopper, or preferably both. That's what I plan to do. And if you would like to have a table set up for selling items, and it can be, if we only have a few items, that's totally fine as well. You can go online, and there is a button that you can push to register for that. If you have any questions about that, just reach out to myself, and I can most certainly help to get you set up for that. So we're hoping to gather not only our own people, but we're working on signage, so we grab some neighborhood people as well. So there will also be a hot dog stand, a 50-50 raffle, and we will end it all with a celebration of coming together with Beatles songs by our own Amy and Adams. So that will definitely be a fun day. And the next one, the men's group. If there are any men that have an interest in leading the group come fall, please contact Reverend Kathy. And then a new thing we have coming up is Unity North Movie Nights. And our first one is going to be on Wednesday, August 31st at 7 o'clock. And we will be doing these movie nights about once a week. And it's once a month, not once a week. And it is a $5 admission, and there will be snacks and water available for to have during the movie. And this month's movie is Little Buddha. And I know that I have not seen it, but I watched the trailer, and it was hard not to just hit the play button right then. But I'm waiting. And then Family Table, our drive-through is this Thursday, the 25th of August at 5 p.m. To help pack and serve the meals, please contact Kathleen Bailey, and her phone number is listed there, or you can email her at outreach@unitynorthmn.org. And upcoming in September, on the 8th, is Unity World Day of Prayer, and it will be 7 p.m. via Zoom, and we usually have done this on Wednesdays before, but this time it's on Thursday. And you can join Reverend Kathy and the chaplains for an hour of prayer, meditation, music, and readings. And again, today our prayer chaplain is Nancy, and she is here, and her phone number is listed there, and I believe in the chat as well.
Wanda, excuse me, quick question. On the movie night, will that be available online for those who are not in the immediate area?
I don't think so. I think we're just going to do it here live.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. All right. And Reverend Kathy, can you lead us in our prayer protection?
Thank you, Wanda, for being worship assistant today. Thank you, Chris. And thank you, Rich. Give them all a hand. All right, and now let's speak our prayer for protection. Feel free to stand. Together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now let's join in our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
All right. There's an opportunity for our people online to share if there's anything you'd like to share. Once I can see all of you, I can't yet see you. There we go. So let's see, Candy, you have your hand up?
Yes. Kathy, I have a question about synchronicity. For a couple of years, numbers have been coming, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. And now they're coming in rapid fire, like several times a day. And I'm not getting the meaning. I'm not getting the clarity. What does that mean when all these numbers come? 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, and so on.
There's a couple things. You can do a little numerology with it, where you can add the numbers together and see what the one number is, or if it's a 1, and just look at the number 1. And you can look up meanings for that. Also, a lot of people believe that when you get numbers like that, it's angels tapping us, little winks from the angels. Yeah, I have 1142. That was my home address as a child, showing up for me constantly now. It's been for weeks, day after day after day. And then it let me alone for a few weeks, and it's back. So I thought, well, okay, so I've looked into my family history. I did some ancestral healing. I tried to figure out what my family's trying to tell me from the past, and I'm still kind of working on it. And I thought I'd resolved it, but the numbers have returned. So maybe it's just my ancestors tapping me on the shoulder saying, we're with you. It's hard to know. You have to kind of search, just like with synchronicity, you have to sort of search for the meaning.
Okay, thank
Good
you.
question. Thank you. Anyone else?
Some of you, this is Howard, some of you may have saw the picture we used for our profile. That was 35 years ago today. We were cutting our wedding cake, and this is how we look like today, just like we did 35.
Happy anniversary.
We're celebrating our wedding anniversary in Milwaukee. So glad to be here.
Fantastic. Happy anniversary. May you have many more. All right. Brandy.
Speaking of weddings, as Kathy knows, my daughter got married this weekend. So yay, I'm super excited. Have a new son-in-law. And I would also just like to ask generally for prayers for my boyfriend. He had a deviated septum surgery last Monday. It was what normally is a 1-hour surgery. For him was a 4-hour surgery. It was pretty intense with a lot of stuff up here. And he still isn't recovered. He's a little bummed he can't get back to work quite yet. So we just do some prayers for some continued healing and all that fun stuff. So thank you.
Tell everybody his first name again, Brandy. Michael.
Yes.
Okay. We'll do prayers for him.
Thank you.
We'll call on Archangel Michael too.
Yes, I was thinking of that. I will definitely do that. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, you bet. And congratulations on your daughter and your new son-in-law. Okay, anyone else? All right, well, hope you all, anybody here? Okay, well, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you for being with us today, and we'll see you next time. God bless. I love that picture, yeah. 35 years